Yes. That works.
You serious?
Yeah. Hey, Nick. Are you serious?
No, it's in camera.
Are you?
Starting Thursday. Is that right?
Saturday.
Saturday.
No, we got a game, traveling game with Holly Hill on Thursday. But they're not supposed to be real strong. So, kind of save some arms there. And then for the tournament, no matter what they pitched in the week, they allow each pitcher 10 innings.
So where is this tournament going to Hitting is a big part of it. You know, you can field all the balls and strike everybody out, but if you can't score any runs, you can't get on base, it's not going to do you much good.
That's right. You lose a lot of 2-0 games. That's that.
What was that? Well, professional game the other night? We had 13 innings.
That's a lot of patience in the game.
We don't want that desserts over there melting. Father LaRussa will be here later. He was detained after Mass tonight, so he'll be here a little bit later. There was a man this year that has been associated with St. Cecilia, better part that I've known him most of my life, that did more for sports at St. Cecilia than anybody I know. So I'd like to start off. Thank you. You can be seated. Next thing on the agenda is to announce our board members that have served you this past year. I'd like them to stand. Your Vice President was Mr. Mark Gallagher. Your Secretary was Mrs. Ann Gordon. Your Treasurer forever has been Mr. David A. Our Social Director in charge of tonight's festivities, Mr. Bill Justice. And our Athletic Committee Director, Mr. Al Beatty. Moving right along, we'd like to begin right away with the awards and the announcement of our teams. And our first team.
Okay, the next group we're going to have up here is the Courtney Gatley, Jennifer Gill, Kim Gordon, Andrea Koenig, Heather McLean, Colleen Melville, Tricia Melville, and Tiffany Triplett. Let's give them a big hand. Okay, after doing, this was my 7th year coaching volleyball here at St. Cecilia. In the last 3 years I'd done the 7th and 8th grade team, so it was quite a shock. I was prepared for this though, for coming back down and doing 4th and 5th grade girls. And I said I went in expecting not a whole lot, and I got a lot out of them. They did a really nice job. They hustled. They worked really hard at practices. They picked up on the skills that they needed to play. And they kept their spirits up a lot. We ended up 6-3 in second place in our division. And they did a wonderful job. I hope all of them come out. And I know there's a few 4th grade girls this year that didn't play volleyball, and I hope they play next year. We could use as many people as want to come out. And they did a really nice job, and I was very proud of them. Thank you.
That concludes the volleyball program for this year. Quite a few teams, 4 teams this year, and they did an excellent job, all of them. The next teams that we want to present to you is another fall sport, and that is football. This year, we started our football program up again. They had an outstanding year. We had quite a few athletes. The coaches came to us last year and they made a pretty good case. They said they had some players. We said go out and get them and we'll set up a team, and we did. And here we are, ready to start a second team next year. I'd like to bring up Mr. Rich Bernan, this year's coach of the reserve football team. He's taking the long way. He always was an end run. Student body left, student body right. No?
It was about a year and a half ago, Father Russo came to myself and another gentleman in here, Dan Ewald, and said that he would like to start a football program. He had come from St. Mary Magdalene, where they had a long tradition of winning championships. So me and Dan, along with the support of Roger and the Athletic Association, put together a program, and we used a little recruiting from the area. We didn't do any harm, and maintained all our good relationships in the community. But we came up with a great group of boys, and I can understand that the last year that St. Cecilia had a football team, they won the championship, and we did likewise. So I'd like to introduce the boys and bring them up now. And I'd like to also bring up my assistant coaches. Okay, Mike Amicon, J.R. Dunn, Wally Fox, Dustin Goldenberry, Kevin Hackert, Nick Murdoch, Keith Bernan, Nick Osterfeld, Jeff Bolt, Stevie Bieber, Tony Fabro, Kevin Gallagher, Dean Grundy, Paul Grundy, Brian Miles, Mike Mulholland, Andy O'Hara, Travis Ruiz. Okay, Mr. Mark Gallagher, Frank Murdoch, and I don't think Dave Brown is here, but he helped out a lot. Okay. We're very proud of you guys. Very, very proud of you guys. And we played a tough schedule. Everybody just asked us to be competitive, but we brought home the hardware. Give yourself a big hand. I got my own protein, though. Good job, Greg.
Okay, we'll move right along now with the basketball program. We had over 70 participants in our basketball program this year, which is quite a large number. We fielded more than one girls basketball team this year, which is a very good sign. We'd like to start out with the junior reserve girls basketball team. And that's Mrs. Ann Gordon.
I didn't coach this team either, but I have to go to all the games because my daughter was on the team, and Jessica Sheets coached this team, and she's at a softball game tonight. She called me today and asked if I'd introduce the girls. So I'd like to introduce them first. It was Ilea Davis, Maria Fabro, Jennifer Gallagher, Kim Borden, Andrea Koenig, Heather McLean, Megan Mack, Colleen Melville, Tricia Melville, Lauren Power, Jennifer O'Brien, and Candace Rimmer. Okay, let's give them a big hand. It was really exciting for me to sit in the stands and watch. They started off pretty slowly, and the first game I think they got the whistle blown on for about everything they did. And by the end of the season, they really improved, and you could tell they were doing what they were supposed to be doing, and they knew how to dribble, and they knew what they were supposed to be doing, like I said. So they did a nice job. They hustled a lot. I don't remember what their record was because I don't think it was all that terrific, but they did hustle. They worked hard, and they listened, and they played hard. So they need to be encouraged to come out again next year for it, and they did a nice job. So give them a big hand.
I don't think you'll find better entertainment for a buck anywhere out here than watching them girls play basketball. Except maybe this next team. I think these girls, for the first time ever playing basketball organized, did a fine job. I know we had games where we didn't score any points. But it wasn't the fact that you didn't score points. You girls were out there and you tried hard every day. You came to practice, you worked at it. You had to get educated on what basketball was, but you all did a fine job. And that's the varsity girls. And Kathy Jensen is going to come up to introduce these girls for us tonight.
Here tonight, he's at a retreat, so I guess I have to do this. They were good girls. They stuck it out when it didn't look like things were going to go their way. I have to say, Susan and Elizabeth down there on the end, our sixth graders, they were under a lot of pressure, didn't get a lot of playing time, but I have to hug them. One other thing. There was a bet made at the beginning of the year with the boys. Whoever won first had to get the other team had to buy pizza. Well, there was no pizza bought. So that about says it. But I'll tell you what, if you guys get together with the girls and decide when and where, I'll buy the pizza.
Okay, we'd like to move along now with the boys basketball, starting with the clinic level. The fourth grade team this year had a good start. I saw them play a couple of times out of Holy Spirit, and these boys are a good team. They've got it together. They've got some fine entertainment if you ever want to go watch it. And we'd like Mr. David A. to come up and present the team.
Thank you. These guys were a good team, and I had no idea how good of a team they would be. I had coached at the 8th grade level for 6 years, and moving to the 4th grade, I thought I would have a big adjustment to make. You know, I wasn't used to dealing with the clinic type level. But first night of practice demonstrated to me just what kind of group that I had. These guys are ball players, I'll guarantee you. It was a great honor to be associated with them. They surprised me. They played defense, offense, handled the ball, shot, everything that over the years some of my 8th graders had done. Just kidding there. But great group. I'm always afraid that somebody in the program is going to be missed. And this year there was, but it's okay, it was my own son, so that's great. So Ryan wanted me to tell you to pencil his name in. So introducing the 4th grade boys basketball team is Ryan A., Jamie Allen, Matt Denbo, Adam Gilbride, Brian Jewell, Michael Piatta, Mark Raines, Kevin Schaefer, and Donnie Smith. I also want to acknowledge my assistant coaches, Steve Jewell and Pat Capretta. I also wish Pat a lot of luck starting next year. Pat and I have been together coaching for 5 years, and I guess I'm going to miss him quite a bit. I've learned to depend on Pat quite a bit. He's going to take the 4th graders next year. So keep your eye on these guys' names, because you're going to see their names in the sports pages for years to come. Thank you.
Yeah, if we missed any names, I apologize for the typist. Because when I checked the list, everybody's name was on it. Moving right along to the 5th grade team here, I'd like to introduce them as Mr. Mark Gallagher. It's a hard name to pronounce.
First of all, I'd like to thank my assistant, Dave Norris. Dave did a good job this year. He knows I'm not the easiest person to work with. And listening to the coaches talk tonight, I keep hearing about the same thing, that their group of kids show a lot of hustle, and that they're ball players, and that they're real proud of them. And that made something pop into my mind when we were playing our tournament game out of St. James. One of the parents, I think it was from St. Matthews, is that the one in Gahanna? St. Matthews of Gahanna came up and said, it's kind of funny, for the past few years we've never heard anything about St. Cecilia, but anymore that's all we seem to hear, that St. Cecilia is either going for a championship or has a fine team. And I think as a tribute to the parents and the other coaches in the room tonight, so I just wanted to say that tonight. I'd also like to thank Phil Justice. He did a good job keeping book for me. Thank you, Phil. And I'll introduce the players now. Matt Burkle, Tony Casey, Kevin Gallagher, Dustin Goldsberry, Josh Gordon, Dean Grundy, Phil Justice, Colin Norris, David Pearson, and Gabe Scunza. I don't think Dave Pearson's here tonight. He was our only CCE basketball player, and the kids welcomed him real well. So we went 1-7 last year, and this year we went 6-2. Came within 1 game of the championship. They did a fine job.
Okay, next group we would like to introduce at this time would be the boys reserve basketball team, who's coached by Mr. Rich Fernand. Maybe this time he'll drive the lane. Basketball is a different sport than football.
reserves right. This was my second year of coaching this group of boys in basketball, and they are a very talented group athletically, and I think they're doing well in school too. But we were very fortunate this year to win 2 trophies. First of all, we won the St. Michael's Trophy, which I about had to pry out of St. Michael's hands. They, this one right here, did not want to, well, they made a very beautiful trophy for themselves, is what they thought they were doing, and we took it from them. But it is a very exceptional group of boys, and I think they're on the verge now. Mike Marina tells me of getting another trophy in baseball. But I'd like to get them up here and introduce them. I'm very, very proud of them. Mike, or let's see, that's football. I want you guys to come on up. You know who you are. Travis Ruiz, Paul Brendike, Mark Pionik, Keith Bernan, Lawrence Water, Nick Murdoch, Nick Arena, and Josh Beatty. And I also like to thank very much my coaches. I couldn't have done it without Mike Arena, Al Beatty, Frank Murdoch. I'd like to also say that we were seated 4th in the diocese, not the small schools, but in the big schools. And we've beaten the top 3 seeds in the diocese already in other games and tournaments. We were a little overconfident. We did lose to a lesser team, but the boys had a great season, winning St. Michael's Holiday Tournament Trophy, the regular season league at Bishop Reedy, and I'd say they were in the top 10 in the diocese. So give yourself a big hand.
You can see we got a lot of good athletes in that 6th grade classroom. I guess Mrs. Hippler had her hands full this year. I'd like to move along now to the junior varsity boys basketball team. And you know who you are, Mr. Al Beatty.
Like everyone else, you have to have assistants. I had a real good assistant this year, and my wife and I made up a little award for him. We gave him a helping hand award for Mr. John Ewald. John, come on up. You can't do it without assistance. When we were up here last year, we introduced almost the same team. We had 2 CCD participants last year. We did it this year. Well, I just want to introduce the boys just a little bit what they did over last year. Matt Beatty went from 72 rebounds last year to 122 this year. At the end, I'll let you see why I want to do this. Nick Ewald went from 23 points last year to scoring 80 points this year. Matt Fall went from 8 rebounds last year to 54 rebounds this year. He also grew 6.5 inches and gained 10 pounds. Donald Larva went from 10 points to 22 points. He grew 7 inches over the summer. Ben Rich, from 16 points to 36 points. Danny Scuggs at 35 rebounds to 49 rebounds. Kevin Straley, 29 rebounds to 51 rebounds. Josh Beatty, I have to introduce Josh. He was at almost all of our practices again this year. He's only 6th grader. We used him in 6 games. He got 16 rebounds for us. We needed him in the last game against St. Augustine. We had 3 starters foul out in the first half. The reason I want to just read these numbers here, last year these boys scored 163 points. This year they scored 316 points. That's how much they've improved over 1 year. We only won 3 games. We were 3-8. But as any of the parents that were ready, especially our last ball game, would say, this is an exciting team to watch. None of them gave up the whole year. And John and I threw some different defenses for them to use that, and they adjusted real well. So next year's 8th graders, we expect a lot out of them. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. Our next team we'd like to introduce to you is our varsity boys basketball program, coached this year by Mr. Mark O'Brien. Seem to have a lot of school spirit, a lot of parish spirit, a lot of parent spirit here. That's good to see.
My assistant coach is Danny Ewald, you probably already know. This young man here is a senior at 3. He came out to help us. He did a real good job. Rob Stark. I'm getting nervous. We're 0-11. But we did make a couple ball games close. One game we lost in overtime. The other game we lost by 2 points. And 2 games we caught them at the 3rd period. And then we lost it because we were so tired. I'd like to bring boys up here. Sean Barnett, Robbie Blue, Ray Carey, Richie Deere, Derek DeShetler, Danny Ewald, Jimmy Hood, Kerry Mayer, Latumo DeLay, and Mark O'Brien, and John Ritterback. You can see we're pretty tall. We told the boys to go ahead and shoot the ball. And they didn't. Well, they didn't disappoint us. We shot the ball 518 times. The problem is we only put in 125. We did have 142 steals. We had 16 blocks, 288 rebounds. Here's another good. We had 202 fouls. We like to foul. We went to the foul line 153 times. We only made 48 of them.
We'd like to move on now with the cheerleaders. First group that we would like to introduce to you is the clinic cheerleaders, and this is Tony Miller.
Carolyn Schroyer was the advisor for the clinic cheerleaders, and Anna Cherry has taken over the overall cheerleading program, and they're making a good impact on our program. St. Cecilia girls that are cheerleaders do have school spirit, and they did support the teams. They were at every basketball game, cheering the boys on, whether to victory or defeat. I'd like to introduce the clinic cheerleaders first. Blair Brown, Katie Browder, Faye Bricker, Maria Fabro, Courtney Gatley, Jennifer Gill, Candace Rimmer, and Kelly Vaughn. Thank you, girls. I'm also sort of the advisor of the person that stays with the girls for the reserve, and that we have girls that have done an excellent job. They cheered for the football team, and they cheered these boys onto these trophies here, and they also cheered for basketball. We had 4 girls in the cheerleading program in the 6th grade, and that was Angela Arena, Kelly Capretta, Susan Miller, and Elizabeth Spears. Thank you, girls, for all the hard work.
Their advisor was Mrs. Mary Allen and Mrs. Penny McAllister.
The junior varsity girls were Kristen Allen, Heather Bell, Jennifer Virgil, Tricia Mays, Andrew McAllister, and Andrea Wecker. I've been working with the girls in the 4th grade. They're a great team. They had a lot of spirit. They cheered on a great team. And they made it a routine this year. They did it all themselves. They did the music, dance, and everything. They did a really good job.
This next team that we're going to introduce to you had the hard chore of cheering for the varsity boys basketball team. And these girls won every cheerleading game.
Hey, ask yourself a question.
They were 11-0.
How many other cheerleaders were there against them?
And they were advised here by Mrs. Kathy Jensen.
That's right. The girls were at every game. You want to watch? The girls were at every game. Where one was, the other was. There was a lot of times I took 7 girls in my car to a ball game. If you see my car, it only holds 4. And there were also some guys in the car with us. This is our group of cheerleaders that cheered for the boys. But if anybody wants any copies of pictures, we have pictures of the boys in the girls' cheerleading outfits. So we do have those. Jennifer O'Brien, Holly Kennedy, Christy Butler.
It's never hard to tell who the 8th graders are around here, is it? The next sport we'd like to introduce to you now is the softball. Starting with the clinic level. This year, coached by Mr. Mark O'Brien. Would you like to come up, Mark? Mark Gallagher, I'm sorry. I can't get these names right. Too many Marks. Mark O'Brien probably thought he was coaching.
Okay, first of all, I'd like to thank the assistant coaches, Al Gatley, he's too shy to come up. Al, thanks. Tim Fabro, I don't know if Tim's here today. Tim did a lot of all the jump jobs, like getting the bases ready, dragging the diamond. He's a big help. And Bill Melville and Ann Gordon did a lot of scorekeeping for us this year. Thank you. So I'll introduce the team now. Faye Bricker, Katie Browder, Blair Brown, Marie Fabro, Jennifer Gallagher, Courtney Gatley, Jennifer Giel, Kim Gordon, Andrea Koenig, Tricia Melville, Catherine Reyes, and Tiffany Triplett. These girls did a real good job this year. We finished 3 and 5. We don't have a lot of experience on the team. I think only 3 or 4 of them have never played softball or baseball before. But the good point for this team is they never give up and they kept playing hard. And no matter how much I yelled, they did a good job. So thank you.
Our next team we'll be introducing to you is the reserve softball team, and I hope I get their name right. Mr. Rich Miller.
As you can see, these girls have been up here before, and that just represents that they are athletes in various sports. 2 people, or 1 person that's not here is Julie Powers. She's an assistant coach. She helped a lot this year. Mark, I'd like to have you come forward, if you could, please. I met Mark way back over in a different field. He's an outstanding coach. I coached against him. I'm so happy to have him with us this year. I guess the thing that really sticks in my mind about this year is the way our team, out of the 5 wins we had, 4 of them we came back. The last one, with the direction of Mark O'Brien, they came back. It was the top of the 6th. We were down 6 runs. With the direction of Mark O'Brien, he had 8 runs produced, and we beat the team 14-12. The girls at this time want Mark to have this ball that represents that win, because that's what sports is. There's a little girl that always helps us in practice. I think she's here. Athena Davis, are you here? Is Athena here? She's not. Well, she always helped us. And she's always out chasing balls. That little girl will definitely be an athlete as she grows up. Something else that happened this year was Bob Dumont. Please stand, Bob. He represents what athletics can do for you over a lifetime. Bob last night played our team played the parents' team against our girls, and that guy was just fantastic. He went 1 for 1. He stole 2nd, and he was just fantastic.
Listen, today's game exemplifies our whole season. Our record's 3 and 5 right now, but of these losses, we've been in these games so tight. Today's game, for example, we lost 6-5 in 9 innings. It was a heck of a ball game, close. These kids are just in every inning, offensively and defensively. Once again, they've been a great joy to have around. So if you guys will come up. On the baseball team, we have Ryan A., Jamie Allen, Derek Buchanan, Tommy Klein, Matt Denbo, Tommy Giusti, Matt Hammock, Brad Wren, Brian Jewell, Michael Piatak, and Kevin Schaefer. And of course, I want to extend my thanks to Steve Jewell.
The reserve boys, coached by Mr. Phil Justice.
I'm probably the most privileged person in this room. Over the years that I coach, I try to keep my players at a distance. I find that we learn fundamentals better, we function better. But I couldn't do it with this group. This is the 2nd year we've had together. Plus, I've coached some of them at Westland and intramurals and all-stars and that kind of thing. But we've really formed a bond now to get personally involved with them. I don't think it's going to be a problem. It seems to be working out pretty well. I like to to introduce Dave Norris. He's my assistant coach, and ask him to come on up. He's my right-hand man. Couldn't go without him. The team that I'm going to bring up and introduce to you at this time is 16-2 over the last 2 years. They're extremely talented. They work hard in practice. They learn the fundamentals that we ask them to learn. We went to the tournament drawing today. We're seeded number 1 in the city in 5th grade teams. I'd like to ask the boys to come on up. This 5th grade reserve. Kevin Gallagher, Josh Gordon, Tony Casey, Matt Burkle, Mike Amicon, Colin Norris, Phil Johnson.
The assistant coaches, Rich and Frank, it's really like having 3 head coaches. These guys have coached a lot over the years, and this is really my first experience as a head coach, and they made it a lot easier. Junior varsity baseball team this year, we got Nick Arena, Josh Beatty, Stevie Weaver, Jamie Choate, J.R. Dunn, Tony Fabro, Paul Brundine, Nick Murdoch, Keith McMahon, Nick Osterfeld, Mark Piatok, Jeff Bull, Lawrence Bull.
You're looking at a loose team.
Very loose. I'm lost.
Thank you.
We're
Here tonight, I'd like to present you with a winning trophy.
Father, you won the football program, and we not only gave you a program, we gave you a championship. Okay? Thank you very much. And also the Reserve League Championship trophy over at Bishop Reed. Thanks again, Father.
Derek DeShane. And we would like them to present their trophy that they won. They won their division, they won the Bishop Bowl, they didn't lose any games. I think they had 2 teams that scored maybe 6 points on them all year. And this is a young lady that I've known for a long time, that I've seen grow up in this parish, that has been a hard worker, pleasant to work with, as all of the coaches have said, not only in her works on the court or on the baseball diamond, but also in the classroom and off the fields. And I'd like to present to you this year's Female Athlete of the Year is Miss Julie Kearns. Our next award will go to the Male Athlete of the Year. And this is also another fine young man that I've been able to know for a long time, who's played in the sports program since his 4th grade level. I think he's pretty well liked among the boys. We're not sure. But I've coached him since he's been in the 4th grade level. And this is the first year I haven't coached him in the 4 or 5 years that we've been together in sports. And this year's Male Athlete of the Year in the 8th grade is Mr. Jimmy Huth. Okay, at this time now, we're going to do several things. One, we're going to have a blessing from Father before we eat all these delicious treats. Secondly, I'd like to thank the parents for bringing those delicious treats. And there is one other person that I'd like to come up. I'd like to shake his hand. I'd like to tell him thank you, because he did do an awful lot of work for us in setting things up and getting things done in our ball diamond. That's Father Ted Sill. He was our chief of bronze. Okay.
We got one more presentation tonight. It was Roger's honor to mention Whitey tonight. It's my honor to present this to a person that's retiring from the Athletic Association after this year. And probably did everybody else's position also. I know I freeloaded a lot, and I probably a lot of the officers did too. And he's going to be a person that's going to be extremely hard to replace. And at this time, we'd like to present this to Roger Huth.
Okay, after Father gives the blessing, we would like, in an orderly fashion, fourth graders may come up for their flags first, then the fifth, sixth, seventh, and eighth. Okay? When you have your flag, then you may go through the line for desserts. But you must get your flag first. Get your flag first.
I want all the athletes to stand up now. All of the athletes here to stand up, please. To this reading now from Paul's second letter to Timothy. St. Paul says, I have competed well. I have finished the race. I have kept the faith. Now on the crown of righteousness awaits me, which the Lord, the just judge, will award to me on that day. And not only to me, but to all who have longed for his appearance. So I ask all the athletes now to bow their heads to pray for God's blessing. Strong and faithful God, as we come together for this athletic banquet, we ask you to bless these athletes. Keep them safe from injury and harm. Instill in them respect for each other and reward them for their perseverance. Lead us all to the rewards of your kingdom, where you live and reign forever and ever. Amen. Amen.
That's got to get harder. That's still pretty good people.
Get that thing off me. If that's going, I'm going to tickle you. Hold out here. Where's your going?
Watch me.
Hi, Dean.
Hey, Dean.
I bet he's not.
Hey, Dean. Did you get an F on your test?
I can't find 15. I lose 10.
Okay. So are you.
One for instant bingo over there. That's a 6-foot paper. Yeah. No. At an angle, just like that.
They started it, they Jagger like
Well,
Say hi, Father.
hello.
Hi, Paul.
Are you making this for news or something?
Yep.
You sell coffee?
What?
Sell coffee? Sell coffee?
No, well, if I'm making coffee. Work, little girl. Clean those tables.
Hey, Paul, why don't you put that away?
Whoa, I don't want to. What do you think you're doing behind there?
No, we got separate things though. They got to put them on. Why don't you kids move the chairs out? Mark, come here.
I really like this. Ah! What? Oh! Oh, I just tripped over that thingy. Look at the pretty stars. Ooh, look at that bright one.
You'll never be able to see in the dark.
Yeah, I will. I'm a professional. Look at all these good desserts. Get out of the way.
Hey, stop. What? Hey.
Hey, I like that stuff.
You're weird.
Get away from there, boy.
Lots of food, don't they? You're weird, Paul.
Shut up. I mean, be quiet. I didn't say that.
What the world are you doing?
Hi, ugly.
Hi, stupid. What?
People working.
You better be a good boy.
Hi. Shut the door. Shut the door. Get out of here. Go see you. Go hit it. Who's gonna do anything about it? Hey, Dad!
Hey, Paul.
Hi. Hey, let's do that, beanbag. You're in trouble now. I was doing this here.
Where'd you guys get
I've heard that before. It's not me, it's Travis.
Oh, hey, who you playing?
There's Frank Murdoch.
Don't worry, I did it. Hi, Mr. Frank Murdoch.
Hey, look, that thing in the picture.
There's my dad. There's okay.
You man film him?
Yeah, go ahead, go.
Where is he?
He's right there.
Oh, I see him.
Katie, oh Katie.
No.
Let go. Nuts. You got a wedgie?
Now we're done with this movie.
No, we're not.
Yes, we are too.
Hi, Mr. Arena.
Hi, Christopher Columbus. Hi, Christopher Columbus. Hi, Christopher Columbus.
Boy.
Hi, Robot. Better not put that on me,
Give me it. Man, I need to kill you.
Guys, off the tables. We gotta get some out of there.
Okay.
Oh.